Hello, I'm Craig Shaw.
I'm Dave Bailey.
And today we're looking at Up in the Air.
I was my little road warrior. 20 minutes from boarding into a world of bliss.
Pleasure to see you again, Mr. Bingham.
Last year, I spent 322 days on the road, which means I had to spend 43 miserable days at home.
You're awfully isolated the way you live.
Isolated, I'm surrounded.
I'm Alex.
I'm Ryan.
Up in the Air is a story about Ryan Bingham, played by George Clooney, who works for a company who specialises in firing people on behalf of their bosses. In the course of his job, he spends most of his time up in the air, travelling various states and cities in America, firing kind of low-level employees and then disappearing into the night to the next job.
I work for a company that lends me out to cowards that don't have the courage to sack their own employees, and for good reason.
Who are you, man?
Because people do crazy stuff when they get fired. I'm gonna need your key card.
So, good points. First, obviously, it's got to be the performances.
Well, yeah. They were good. I wouldn't say they were.
But you didn't like Clooney, particularly.
I didn't dislike. I like George Clooney. But to say that he's been nominated for awards for this film, I don't see it really. It was a decent performance.
I think that of all the performances I've seen of George Clooney, he's always likeable. This is kind of the closest that he's been kind of to himself. Because if you remember, a few years ago there was a bet with Michelle Pfeiffer and somebody else that he wouldn't get married by 40, and he hasn't. And he's since extended that to 50.
Yeah, which is almost done.
He's still not married. He's
48.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So part of the film, I felt like I was seeing a glimpse into Clooney's inadequacies or his inner thoughts a little bit occasionally.
Yeah, but that doesn't make a good performance, I don't think.
No, that's fine. But he did essentially make what is probably the most unlikable character at the moment in the current climate likable, which is hard to do.
Was he that likable though?
He was. Well, I didn't have a problem with it. I don't know anybody else that would have done really.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't horrible, but I didn't feel a lot of anything towards him really.
Ryan Bingham, played by George Clooney, is a guy who fires people for a living. He fires them in a pretty bad economy, but his true life passion is collecting air miles. He lives day to day from airport to airport, hotel to hotel, with no real home base, and believes philosophically that life would be better alone, with nobody, with nothing, until he is challenged by two striking women.
You have set up a way of life that makes it impossible for you to have any kind of human connection.
What are you doing this weekend?
Well, you want me to be your date?
Yeah.
I mean, your sister's wedding?
Well, it's not like I know her that well.
I had the danger of slipping into typical, kind of a rom-com love story.
I think it did that in the last, I don't know, half hour. It wasn't very long, so yeah, maybe half an hour. Well, really all the way through. As soon as he met Alex, it was obvious where that particular story was, not necessarily the actual ending of that story. But
you knew it wasn't going to be, oh, this is a no-strings sex deal, and
exactly.
we're going to keep it like that throughout the film. Something was going to happen.
Exactly, and you knew someone was going to get hurt somewhere along the line, presumably Ryan, because it's his story, really. So I think that did go a little bit too far.
I wanted to see him be vulnerable. And I really didn't know how difficult that would be. I wasn't sure if this was the kind of thing where this was going to be a lot of work as a director and I'd be kind of trying to beat him up and yank this out of him. And the truth is, we got to day 2 of the shoot, and we had a tricky scene, the kind of scene you don't want to shoot on day 2. But because of the location, we simply had to. And this is the scene where you were on the phone with him and he was and he's in this tram. And it's perhaps his most vulnerable scene in the film. And we got to take 2, and he just gave it to me.
And the wedding scene seems to betray it as well. Before the guy who was in, what was he in now? He was in Pineapple Express. The guy who's going to marry his sister, his younger sister. He when he was talking to him about marriage and stuff, it sort of just betrayed it a little bit, because it turned into, he had to give a speech,
Yeah, he had to give the speech, and the music was swelling. It was going in on his face. And
I just think that part of the film, you get rid of it and do
definitely, yeah.
If you think about it, the most important moments in your life, were you alone? Life's better with company.
You never got married.
That's true.
And you never even tried.
It's hard to define try.
I thought the screenplay was very good.
But just reshoot the ending. The last quarter.
I think so. I don't know what I'd do differently though, because
it's almost like they bottled it at the last minute. It's like, all right, we have this story. This guy, he's played by George Clooney, and they couldn't maintain what they had in the beginning because people wouldn't like it.
People wouldn't accept it.
And the ending is kind of open. Maybe it's just the closest they could have come, but I'm not really sure about that.
But yeah, like I say, I thought the script was very good. It was very well written. I imagine they must have had George Clooney in mind because I thought it suited him really well.
This is how I start every day of my life. All right, now this is where it gets difficult, so stay with me. The slower we move, the faster we die. We are not swans. We're sharks.
Every once in a while, in the middle of these firings, in between these firings, he goes off to various conferences to deliver his speech, shall we say, for his world life philosophy. Non-commitment.
It's called "What's in Your Rucksack?"
What's in your sack or something. And about emptying your sack completely, so it doesn't weigh you down.
How good it feels when you've emptied your sack.
Right.
What kind of relationship do you have?
Casual.
Sounds pretty special.
Oscar speak.
Okay.
Well, it's what's it up against?
Well, for Best Picture, like I said, there's 10 nominations. It's up against Avatar, The Blind Side, District 9, An Education, The Hurt Locker, Inglourious Bastards, Precious, A Serious Man, Up, and Itself.
How do you think it's going to stand?
It's not going to win. No. I mean, I can't see it winning in a million years.
But after, I haven't seen Blindside, but probably if Avatar's going to win it, I mean, it's up there. It's I prefer it to Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Maybe not Hurt Locker.
Yeah, I think Hurt Locker was better. District 9 was definitely better.
Really?
Yeah, it was good.
What about Clooney for the Oscar?
Again, I can't see it. I mean,
who's he? What?
Jeff Bridges won the Golden Globe for Crazy Heart, which everyone's talking about sort of parallels with Mickey Rourke and The Wrestler, and it seems like the sort of most performance-y one. I haven't seen A Single Man, which is what Colin Firth's been nominated for, and then Morgan Freeman in Invictus, which no one in this country's seen yet because it's not out. Jeremy Renner in Hurt Locker, it was pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Clooney's never won leading actor.
So taking bets? No. Maybe best original screenplay.
Adapted screenplay.
Adapted screenplay.
Yeah, it's based on a novel. And it's up against District 9, An Education, In the Loop, and Precious for that. So I'd say it's got a good chance again. It won,
so how many is it nominated for?
6.
So you think it's going to get 1 out of 6, probably?
6. Yeah, 6. I suppose it could get a supporting actress. It's got 2. It's got Vera Farmiga and Anna Kendrick nominated for that.
So, verdict, up in the air.
It was good. I think it really suffered. I think if I hadn't heard a lot about it, I would have liked it a lot more. Like when I saw Juno, Jason Reitman's previous film, I hadn't really heard much about it. I really enjoyed it. It had so much hype, 5 stars everywhere, and it was good, but it wasn't that good.
Out of 5?
Out of 5, just a 4.
I'd give it 4 too.
Only just there.
Okay, there it is, up in the air.
You should see it.
That's all from us. See you next time.
Bye.